Dr. Narvaez was sent to inspect the town to find out what was happening to Epsilon 6. Upon her suggestion, permission to administer DMT was authorized. DMT is considered a hallucinogen, but according to Dr. Narvaez's research, it's actually a perception enhancer. Upon administering the DMT and entering the town, she witnessed a yellow fog engulfing the city. People in dark hooded cloaks circulated among the locals, who kept their eyes down and avoided them. The buildings are dilapidated and covered in pulsating flesh. A black liquid oozes through the drainage system. The church in the center of town is replaced by a black ziggurat, where the hooded people worship and prostrate. Her assistant, Dr. Wu, sees none of this. A large robed entity holds several creatures on a leash. They all have small eyes and needle-like teeth. Wu, instead, sees a teacher with students. The creatures start to attack the smallest of their pack, ripping it apart. Wu sees the children bullying another child. Narvaez emptied her water bottle and bent down to fill it with the black liquid flowing through the drains. As the DMT wore off, she witnessed the black liquid disappear from her flask. The bottle was sent back to the Foundation for analysis. Upon leaving the sphere of control of SCP-2480, the black liquid once again became visible. In mid-1988, Simon Oswald, director of Site-13, failed to send a biannual report on the state of SCP-2480. The Foundation, believing it to be a bureaucratic error, attempted to contact Site-13 directly without response. Initially, Agent Samuel Rowe and Agent Sarah Valentine were sent to investigate, but neither agent has made contact since. Mobile Task Force Epsilon 6, known as the Village Idiots, was dispatched in order to re-establish contact with Site-13 and properly secure SCP-2480. Members of Epsilon 6 were able to successfully integrate themselves into the community as new residents or tourists. Last night, I saw a man mowing his lawn at midnight. Strange behavior, but not itself an anomaly. This morning, I noticed a man staring me down at the fish market. His eyes never blinked once. Can't get any sleep. Keep checking the damn peephole. Last night, decided to check it one last time before heading to bed. Saw a face. Couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman, but as soon as I looked, they started to slam their head against the door. Saw a bunch of kids gathered on the street around dusk. Thought they were playing a game, but as soon as they noticed me, they scattered, leaving behind what had their attention. It was a dead dog. This was different. Poor critter was partially flayed and covered in bite marks. Big chunks torn from it. 7 days without any word from Giuseppe. Lightbody said they had plans to rendezvous at the old mill, but he never showed. We have nothing to go on. It's like he ceased to exist. The air smelled of thunder. Assumed a storm was brewing. I saw Grayson's eyes widen, and in an instant, he was turned to slurry. There I was, covered in blood and bile, the small chunks of Grayson spilling into the harbor. Through it all, I felt a presence. Today, we discuss SCP-2480. Don't forget to subscribe. Dr. Narvaez conducted a second incursion, accompanied by Agents Lightbody and Goldstein, to ascertain what had happened to Giuseppe. After administering the DMT, the building immediately entered a state of decay with fecal matter and blood everywhere. In the living room, written on the wall, it says, "He is dreaming war. Adytum will rise." They searched the basement, and upon the far wall was a yellow symbol, appearing to float in thin air. The wall faded away, and a set of stairs descended down. As Narvaez descended, her colleagues reported that she vanished straight through the wall. Upon her persuasion, they followed her through. They descended the stone stairs into a moist tunnel-like structure with oozing walls. The tunnel divided into branching smaller tunnels. They took the nearest left tunnel and soon came upon a rotted wooden door. They pushed through the door and came out of a shack in a field near the Bodfel estate, clear on the other side of town. Narvaez saw the silhouette of a large humanoid coming through the fog, invisible to the other two. Approximately 4 meters in height, pale, flabby flesh, large tooth-filled mouth, no eyes, ears, or nostrils, 3-fingered hands stained in blood and guts. It took Goldstein and disemboweled him in one swift move. The doctor and Lightbody took off running, but the ground was shifting and moving. It had become flesh, skin, and pus. The ground opened up around Lightbody and swallowed him whole. The last thing I heard was her screams and bones cracking. In response, Project Citra Acra was formed between the Foundation and the Global Occult Coalition. Their job? To end SCP-2480 and whatever it represented. 12 years of hard work and heavy losses later, and they were able to capture the Bodfel estate and SCP-2480-1, a humanoid entity believed to lead and control SCP-2480 events through pheromones. Upon inspection and interview of SCP-2480-1, he was found to have no internal organs aside from heart, lungs, and brain, of which his pineal gland was 8 times larger than normal. He preferred to be addressed as Carsus Carvas. Upon interview, it soon became apparent that Carsus Carvas was actually Site Director Simon Oswald, who had disappeared years before. When asked how he obtained his powers, he stated it was a gift from Grand Carsus Ion, the founder of the Sarkic Empire. SCP-2480 is speculated to be a dimensional anomaly located in Massachusetts, in a coastal and heavily forested town with just over 9,000 residents. SCP-2480 appears to be centered around Bodfel Manor, home of the late Cornelius P. Bodfel III, 1866 to 1952, a millionaire industrialist with an acute interest in the occult. Prior to his death, Bodfel was a leader of a secret society known as Adytum's Wake. Dismissed by the Foundation in 1932 as simply being a decadent upper-class social club, it has now been verified that GOC operatives intended to assassinate Person of Interest 93. As POL-93 was not discovered among the dead, it can be surmised that the GOC did not achieve their primary goal. 36 corpses were found scattered throughout the estate, 8 of which were later identified as GOC operatives. SCP-2480 is hypothesized to be a dimensional anomaly that cannot be directly perceived. This cognitohazardous effect interferes with perception in such a way that only through the use of perception-altering chemicals and the direct and sustained observation of its effects on local reality may it be detected. The investigation of Bodfel Manor uncovered disconcerting evidence with regards to Cornelius P. Bodfel III and the organization known as Adytum's Wake. Based on several meticulously kept journals and a collection of photographs, Bodfel and his followers would frequently host orgies that included rape, pedophilia, ritual human sacrifice, and cannibalism. The Grand Hall contains a marble statue depicting an entity with a leonine head and veriform body, confirmed to be the representation of the Demiurge, also known as Yaldabaoth, Saklas, or Samael. At the base of the statue, written in Greek, are the words, "Desire is the measure of all things. Be unbound from moral tethers. Do as you will, to whom you will." The Unfinished Ritual is rumored to have been an attempt at bringing Yaldabaoth into our world. Alternatively, some say that Adytum's Wake was trying to bring Grand Carsus Ion back to our world. Whichever it was, the GOC failed their attempt to assassinate Person of Interest 93, Grand Carsus Ion. By interrupting this ritual, they opened a dimensional rift which allowed nightmarish invisible creatures into our world. Ion then bestowed Simon Oswald with the power to control these nightmarish creatures and prepare a Sarkic army for conquest. The rift was finally closed and is considered neutralized since the capture of Oswald. However, another similar situation has arisen in Romania. Click like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more from the files of Professor Lucius.